Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our YouTube channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that this video is actually going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine. Kisumu is also fantastic. And maybe you could also let me know where you are watching the video from, the county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenya Kwanza is in panic. They are in panic because Azimio brigades are actually collecting evidence on protest casualties. Earlier today, this is what Azimio communicated through their official and verified Facebook page and Twitter pages. Azimio alert. Dear Kenyans, we urgently call upon anyone with evidence and reports of casualties from across the nation to bring this vital information to Right Honorable Raila Odinga's Capitol Hill office without delay. Asanteni. So the question is, why would Azimio ask their supporters to provide this evidence? And later on, Azimio addressed a press conference. And this is what they had to say about this particular evidence, because I want to reveal to you guys why that move is causing serious political headache to Kenya Kwanza.
The world has known of the butcher of Cambodia. This was before other butchers. Today it will appear there is a butcher of Kenya in the making. We call on Kenyans to refuse to be intimidated in their own country. We urge Kenyans to be firm and to resist this deliberate effort to turn the National Police Service into a killer squad for hire by politicians, and the regime suffering acutely from legitimacy deficit. We are going beyond merely condemning this emerging pattern. We have instructed our lawyers to prepare and institute local proceedings against police officers who have gone against their duty of protecting life and property of Kenyans and instead have become a threat to the very citizens they're supposed to protect. In this regard, we are appealing to all Kenyans who have photographic or video evidence of police brutalizing citizens to share the same with us to aid the case that our legal team is working on. Going forward, we appeal to Kenyans to resort to citizen journalism and photograph and film state officers, including police and politicians who in the course of duty abuse and brutalize their fellow citizens. Because the regime has decided to turn all institutions of the state against the citizens, we have no option but to act to protect ourselves.
Now, that's Eugene Wamalwa talking about the same thing. And the question is, why would Azimio collect evidence on protest casualties? And where are they going to take them to? According to Wamalwa's own statement, they have actually assembled a team of lawyers who are looking at this particular issue with a view of starting a legal proceeding. But let me take you back a bit. And by the way, before I take you back a bit, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two and click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. And allow me to also take this opportunity to thank the following people. You are seeing their names on the screen there for the coffee which I received. Thank you guys so much. Now, let me take you back a bit. In April this year, I think around May there, around 14th, if I'm not wrong, Raila Odinga, through his legal advisor, Paul Mwangi, wrote a letter to ICC. In that letter, they narrowed down to 9 issues which they wanted ICC to take note of. Let me just give you the 3 issues, some of the top 3 issues which they submitted. The first issue they were raising was that there were targeted attacks on protesters. Remember, during that time, I think that was the time Azimio had begun this protest, and the police really got on them. One of the issues was that there is clearly a targeted attacks on protesters by Kenya Kwanza government. And in their list, they listed 8 local journalists. Remember during the time when that journalist was assaulted. And they also listed 9 protesters who had actually been eliminated during the same period. The second issue they raised was that there is clearly an existence of a special squad whose sole purpose was to assassinate and eliminate Azimio, brigades, and demonstrators. And again, if you paid close attention to the statement by Eugene Wamalwa today, he also alluded to the existence of this special squad.
We're here today to condemn the senseless brutality and state-sanctioned execution of civilians by police, which is becoming the new normal in Kenya. We are deeply concerned at the repeated instances of police brutality against innocent and law-abiding citizens. Yesterday, this brutality gained a new notoriety. Police not only fired bullets at citizens who were gathering for a rally in Kamkunji, far from the CBD, they also fired tear gas into a primary school right here in Nairobi, exposing to mortal danger our very innocent children who had absolutely no idea or who were not involved in any way in these demonstrations. The brutality is not ad hoc. It is coordinated. It is even ethnicized. A special ethnic-based killer squad has been formed within the larger police service to brutalize and carry out summary execution of citizens in the name of protecting what they have been made to believe is their regime. This squad is taking instructions from an equally ethnic-based command structure that operates outside the official channels of the police service. As if this is not enough, a killer squad that is not part of the police service is being activated to operate as part of the police to brutalize Kenyans. This squad was in its true element yesterday.
And again, another issue, which is my third issue, which they raised, was that there is unconstitutional banning of demonstrations in Kenya by Kenya Kwanza government. That's how I'm looking at the move to collect this evidence. And by the way, I come from Nyakach. Sondu is my local market, and something is happening there. According to the locals, they have talked to them, they have even videos outside there. It seems someone is out to feign tribal clashes. I want to use this platform of mine to appeal to Kenyans from both sides to ignore any incitement. I want to appeal to them because there's no need of someone ferrying youths from as far as Kericho to come to Sondu to fight with bows and arrows and enjoying police protection. Then tomorrow, after they've gone, the locals, because Sondu is at the border, the locals from that side and this side will still come again and sell their items, goods and services, the same market. It doesn't make sense. So I want to appeal to everybody. And if someone is responsible for this, please just stop it. Now, let me get to the issue. Why do you think this move by Azimio is causing serious political headache to Kenya Kwanza? Number one, in my view, I think the idea behind preparing this list is to identify the actual number of casualties. How many people have been eliminated during this protest since they began. Once they identify the number of casualties, then they'll compile a report about the cause of death. What caused their death? Is it gun wounds? Is it they want to collect those evidence? And probably after getting those evidence, because for example, let's say Azimio will be able to collect, let's say during this period, these are the number of people who have been eliminated. They are 100 or they are 50 or they are 20. Out of these 20 or out of these 50, all of them are as a result of police brutality. What will that portray on the face of Kenya Kwanza? So for me, the list is basically to have the details of the casualties, so that in case they are going for ICC, then they'll be able to provide evidence that these are the cases, these are the causes of their deaths. So that's number one. Number two, I also tend to think that the idea is basically to investigate the cases and ensure that personal responsibility of individual police. So if you're a police officer and there's an individual who was eliminated because of your action, then you'll take responsibility. And again, if you listen to their press statement, they again alluded to that. And by doing this, remember how ICC ended up. Individuals then took personal responsibility, because there is this feeling amongst Azimio supporters that there is a squad. Yesterday, there's this famous photo of a gentleman, a police officer in plain clothes, being shielded by another police officer, but he was carrying some weapons of mass destruction. And the Kenyans were asking, why would he do that? And he was masked everywhere. You could not even identify the face. While the laws are very clear that during demonstrations, what ought to happen is that the police should be in uniform, so that you can identify a police officer from the demonstrators. But here we had a police officer in civilian being shielded by the police. So these are the people Azimio are planning to identify. Number three, why they are worried is because of the political objective which Azimio wants to achieve by this list. You see, let's face the reality. Kenya is a tribal country. If, for example, they'll prove that majority of the casualties are coming from Azimio side, then clearly, a message or a narrative is going to be crafted. Or maybe if they realize that majority of these people were killed as a result of demonstrations, then they can tell Kenyans that these are the lists. They can print those lists of those people. I've seen some images which are not very good. Then say these are the people who have been eliminated. So William Ruto cannot then run away from extrajudicial killings. And lastly, maybe they want to collect this list for sympathy. Sympathy. Kenyans will be shocked that during this period, like the other day on not this Wednesday, on Friday. On Friday, we had 6 casualties. 3 were from Kisumu. 3 casualties were from Migori. And the question which I asked myself, Kisumu was not the epicenter of demonstrations that day. Migori was not the epicenter of the demonstrations that day. The epicenter was actually in Kisii. And why is it that, despite Kisii being the epicenter, we never reported any casualty? Which means probably those who came to Kisumu came with clear instructions: shoot to kill. So let us wait and see the legal proceedings Azimio are planning to launch after collecting this evidence. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye bye.